Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome back to Let's Make a Mini, the series where I'll be taking some of our favourite characters from the world of TV, movies, video games, comics, all that good stuff, and making them as D&D minifigures right here on Hero Forge. Yes, indeed. Now, today we are doing something a little bit different. Most of the people or characters we make are people, humans, anything like that. Today I'm going a little bit off-piste, excuse me. And we're going to be making a video game character who is not a human. So for the first time in ages, we're not going to be using human as our base for the character, because today we are going to be making Fox McCloud from Star Fox and Super Smash and probably various other games as well. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of my tea real quick. Lovely stuff. So yes, Fox McCloud, we are going to be making Star Fox himself. Not too many different items that have been introduced being used here today, but quite an interesting build that is going to take a little bit of ingenuity with the clothing and stuff like that, but it's going to be fun, so without further ado, let's make a mini. So, first things first, let's see what we're using as our base. And it's quite interesting really, because this wasn't something that was initially on Hero Forge, but it's something they've added in, recent times, which is quite fun. If we scroll quite far down, past various different options, we're going to get to, if I'm not horribly mistaken, the fox folk people. Humanoid foxes. This is perfect. This is exactly what we need. Here's a fox. It's grand. We've got a fox. Fantastic. Good stuff. Very happy with that. So, thinking about it, there are a few things still that we want to edit here. Most importantly, the body itself, because as you can see, in terms of clothing, we can add gloves, but we can't add boots and stuff like that, which we really want to do. So, with that in mind, looking at my image. In fact, I'm going to pull up another image really quickly on my phone, just to make sure I'm working with the right things here. We are super professional here. Yeah, it's odd. He doesn't really have claws, so we might have to do a little bit of messing around with the hands themselves, just looking down. Yeah, he has kind of the furry body, obviously. But his hands are actually quite humanoid, and certainly his legs are going to need to be to fit boots on. So we're going to body. We're going to look at the legs. We're actually just going to give him his regular humanoid legs. And in terms of the torso, now we do have some options here, because we do have the animal-like torso, but that's still going to give us claws, which we don't really want. We actually just want humanoid hands. So we're going to give that a go. And see how we do. So what we're going to do first is sort out his colouring. So going on to clothing, we're going to strip him down as much as we can. We're going to get rid of his top half clothing and see what works best. So we go into colour, and we're going to start building him manually right now. I know this is a weird order to do things, but it's what we need. Now Fox has green eyes, I believe, so we're going to add those in. That's fine. But in terms of the body itself, we're going to need brown and kind of slightly less brown, as it were. So what are we going to work with? Chestnut could be good. It's a bit too dark. This is not bad. That's pretty good. And I think that's going to be our main base. So looking at it, this is more of the other colour. I think it's just going to be pretty much these areas. A little bit tricky to get in there, but that's fine. And the ears themselves, those are going to be this colour. And then the internal colour, I'm just going to make those like that. The internal colour is more of sort of this. That's too close. That's too close as well. That's better. We might have to make his main skin colour a little darker, but that's fine. We can do that. Make the internal parts this colour. Excuse me. Let's see if we can't make this slightly different. That's a little bit, it's not quite right. This Dijon brunette is pretty much the colour we're going for. We just need to make it a little bit darker, a little bit more orange rather than yellow. We'll mess around with that, so let's do that. We'll go into here and see what we can do. Just making it a little bit darker. Obviously the body doesn't really matter, we're not going to be seeing that. Let's see if we can't turn this low bit into a bit more of what we're looking for. Now that's not quite right. Let's Control Z that. It's actually going to be the mid that we want to change. What I think we want to do is something like this. Maybe a little bit more orange. That is looking much better. I like that a lot. Yeah, we're going to rock with that. We are going to rock with that, ladies and gentlemen. So that's all very nice. Let's finish up the head just because we can. I'm actually going to sort this out because we need to do the inside of the mouth as well. Now looking at it, let's go into colour, let's go into our paints. We're going to need to zoom in just a little bit. Looking at it, let's get the teeth done. We're going to go with a nice bone white, which I think is going to hit those as well. Does it hit both of them? It does, that's fine. And now we want to go onto the skin and finish him up with a nice snoot. Boop with the snoot. We're going to make the lips that colour and all. And the inside of the mouth we're just going to make this colour. And that is pretty accurate. The only thing left is to do the tail, which we will do right now. Go back into our mix and quite simply just do this. Perfect. Very nice indeed. That is the bodywork done. Now we can get onto the fun stuff. We might go back and change the body type just in case we need to. But now we can get onto sort of the gear, the clothing, and start building Fox himself. But the first thing we want to do is add some hair. Now, there are some new hair options. And they're absolutely perfect for this character. Because as you can see down here, nope, I've gone past them. Here, I've gone past them again. Here, we have these hyena mohawk style. These were added in with like the Giggle Dog race, which is kind of like a hyena. What we want is probably this one, maybe this one. We don't want it to go all the way down his back is the thing. So this mohawk actually might be the one we go with, and it is. Very nice. We're going to change the colouring on that. Let's go back to our paints and make it our light colour. Very nice. And that will do nicely for Fox's pose and head and stuff. We're going to just close his mouth up because it looks a bit weird. On the face, the arg is going to go down just to here. We're going to give him a little bit of a snarl and not too much more of a smile. That will do very nicely. So, moving swiftly forwards into our clothing options. Now, I don't know if we can actually give him the headpiece that would be ideal, which is this. We actually can, that's not too bad. We'll come back to that, I might not use that. But the main thing is his bodywork. Now, there are options we can go with here, and the one we want for the top half of his clothing is actually right down the bottom, if I do believe. Or it's near the bottom. Where are you? There's one I'm looking for, it's kind of this distressed shirt and hello. Is that the one I'm looking for? Not quite. I'm looking for this kind of distressed shirt and jacket combination, which I know exists. It's definitely around here somewhere. Aha! Tattered jacket. This is exactly what we're looking for. Very nice. The tattered jacket is perfect for what we're working with. In terms of the legs, we could go with the Gunslinger's chaps that we did last time, if you remember, for Skull from Persona 5. But what I really want here is something a little less gunny and a little more sleek. So the mariachi pants are what we're actually going to work with. Now, in terms of the feet, as you can see, we can add them in. It doesn't matter about doing the toenails because we're not going to see them. We want something a little spacey, a little bulky. And there are a few options we can go with. Some of the more tactical armour Like the assault armor boots are a possibility, but they're a little bit too much for my tastes. Obviously you've got these futuristic cuffed ones, but they're not big enough. What I'm after is something a little bit in between the two. There are options, I just need to find them. Where are they? They must be around here somewhere. Here we have a few. We've got plate mail armor. Ornate boots are not quite right. Blackguard boots are okay, but again, not quite what I'm looking for. Dragon Knight are a little bit too edgy. The tactical armor boots, they're pretty good. Looking at my reference pick, they are pretty good. Yeah, I like those. We're going to stick with those. The final piece of the puzzle is going to be the gloves. Very simply, we just want fingerless gloves. That's basically all we need. Now, looking at the fact that we've done this, we're going to look into the body type and see if we want the furry clawed torso. And the answer quite simply is no, we don't. We don't want that. The frog-like one is a bit weird, and we don't want that either. So we're just going to Control Z back to the regular human body, because there are certain things we want to do with the fact that it is just one tone on this part. And we'll see if we can get it to work. Because what we don't actually want is to be able to see his body under the clothing. We want to change that, and we're going to try. So, the gear we will sort out later. Now we're just going to start adding in our colour and building Fox up. And the first thing I want to try is to sort out this, because what we want is to make this not his skin, we want to make it his undershirt. So doing that, he's got this red undershirt. The fact that it's all covered up quite nicely is very useful. We could do this as well, but we're not going to, because that's going to turn his whole fingers a different colour. We don't want that. So we're going to leave it at that for now, and then we're going to start building up the rest of him. So this kind of waistcoat bit is going to be green. It's the same as his trousers, in fact. Now these mariachi pants have stuff down the side. We actually don't want to add too much detail into that. We want to make it as one colour as possible. And you can see already we're turning it into Fox, which is perfect. It's exactly what we want. We're going to make these green as well. That's fine. And now we're going to start getting sorted on the rest of him. So we want kind of a grey in here somewhere. This might be quite good for his body. It's a bit dark. Bit dark. Let's try this. That's a little bit better. We might darken it just a little bit. We really want something in between the two of those, which is quite difficult to get. But we are going to try our best to manage. That is going to be this colour too, which is just fine. And the accenting we want to be just slightly different. So let's work out what we're going to do here. These are going to be more metal, which is fine. Those are going to be that colour, which is also fine. Let's see what we can find. Let's see what colour we can find to bring out this part. That's okay. We might be able to lighten it. Similar kind of thing with this. I'm going to go with this one for now, and we're going to try and lighten this later on, further down the line. So all of the accenting is going to be this colour. Let's add it in there at the back. A lot of this kind of ribbing and accenting, I believe, has been added in at a later date, because I think this used to be quite plain. But that is a-okay by me. Let's make that the grey colour. That belt. Right there, very nice. And now we can start adding in some more. So let's go to the black leather for the belts. Add that in there, very nice indeed. And let's see about making the buttons black. I think that will work quite nicely. And of course the gloves we want to be black as well. Let's make these bits black too. Very nice. And I think that's pretty good for Fox's colour. And we're going to need to edit the blue a little bit because it's a little too much. But for now, let's focus on those boots. Now we want metal for this. And we still want some kind of blue in there too. This is looking like a perfect candidate for like the top part. And looking at it, the toe and base. Let's see if that works. That's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. And now, for the rest of it, let's try some metal. It's a little dark. What if we match it to the coat? Let's try that, gang. Let's make that happen. I wonder if that's actually going to be better for this. Ooh, that's much better, actually. Let's just do this real quick. Oh, I found a better colour for the ribbing on the jacket. That's much better. Yeah, I like that a lot more. I like that a lot more. Perfect. And it's still a little bit too blue for that bit. What we want, I think, is the grey. I like that a lot more than the metal. I do, gang. Is that going to change? It's going to change that too much. Control Z that. And that's the boots done. So that's actually looking not bad. Let's really quickly give him the belt buckle that we want. Let's add a little bit of gold colouring in there, maybe. Yeah, that'll play. That'll play quite nicely. Good. So that is Fox's main bodywork done. The one thing I do want to do, as I say real quickly, is just try and soften up this grey. Maybe make it a little darker. Not too dark though. Oh, it's because I'm on the colouring bit of it. I actually just want to do this. There we go. Yeah, that'll do nicely. So that is Fox's bodywork pretty much done. Now what we want to do is mess around with his gear and the base and stuff. I'm going to give him this base. It seems to be the most obvious choice. Let's colour that real quick. Just before I forget, we'll get the primer on. We'll make it a nice metal. Very good. Oh, that's a bit dark. Chrome is better. Chrome is definitely better for that. Cool. So now, gear. We want him with a gun. That's pretty obvious. It's already on guns. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. But that's fine. We're going to give him a pistol. Now in his hands, we want him to be having his main weapon. So the futuristic pistol. Not sure. Not sure. The actual handgun, maybe. See how it looks from the top. Not quite what I'm after. How about this? Ooh, that's pretty good. Hey, yes, that's perfect. Love that. Love that. That's great. Let's give him a holster at the side. It's already on pistol. Lovely. That is going to be fine. Easy wins. And that's pretty much all we need for the gear. So now let's colour it in. Looking at the picture I've got, it's mostly black. There's a little bit of blue in there, which makes sense because it's kind of a laser pistol. There's a little bit of gold colouring too. Yeah, okay. This is doable. This is very doable. Let's get back onto our paints. The main body, of course, is going to be black, which is fine. We'll just do all of that stuff. So like here, this bit wants to be black. Let's make this bit black and all. This bit probably should be black as well. Main body black. Let's get some silver in there too. For like the hammer. Oh, let's make it chrome. Stands out a bit more. Awesome. That bit too. Let's make the handle that colour. That little bit in there can change. Now let's add our gold in. So it's looking like this bit is gold. And possibly that. Is there any more on this side? No, which leaves this bit. I think this is the bit we want to be blue. And it needs to be kind of a fiery blue. So let's go on to flame and see what we've got. That's a bit too muted. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Do we want this bit to be blue? I think, yeah, we do want that bit to be blue. That's quite good. Yeah, that'll play. That'll play very nicely. Good. The last bit we want to colour in is, of course, his holster. We're just going to make this a nice black just to mess nicely with the belt. Let's give him just a touch of chrome. on there. Lovely. Very good indeed. Now let's get him a bit of an action pose. We don't want him just standing like that, you know, we want him to be firing his gun, if possible. So let's see what we can do. That is an option, but I don't like what he's doing with this arm. Let's try this one. Too hunched. What else have we got? Not really a fan of that one. Too much of a fan of that one either. Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's even holding it sideways. I like that a lot. Okay, advanced pose. Let's have him actually looking where he's firing. Always aim, then fire. Fox, come on now. Fire, Fox. I'm hilarious. Bend the head down. Tilt it. Down like that. Let's twist it even more. Yep, that will do. That will do very nicely. Love that. Cool. Now, let's experiment with this headpiece that I was looking at earlier. I'm aware that we're over 20 minutes in. Let's experiment with this headpiece. I think this could work. Let me just see if I can get a proper look at the actual headpiece itself. It's not bad. Let's have a look at those images real quick. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go and see if it works. So let's get some metals on the go. Chrome is going to be the big one. Well, actually, I think black is going to end up being the big one. Yeah, I think that's good. Now we actually want some green in there, because looking at it, we do have a fair bit of green going on. Ideally, I'd like that bit to be over his eye, but we can't really do that. Now, I know I've messed around with eye patches before, but it's not going to work here, unfortunately, because it'll cover up too much of his face. But that is pretty good. Now let's get some base items in, just because we can, and it's nice to have them for a bit of flavour. There's not too much space tech going on. We do have this energy cell, but what I really want to evoke here is the idea of him fighting like on a ship. And this base is leading me to want to use, scrolling further down here, these cargo crates. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add them in, and we're going to give them just some very basic colouring. There's not a lot we need to do with them. That's pretty much fine. Back onto colour, and we can pretty much use what we've got in the mix. So this kind of black colouring for the most part of these. Got a picture up where it kind of shows that he's in that kind of area. So let's add the black colouring in there. Real nice. And we don't want to do too much here, because this is just adding flavour for the sake of it. So every bit of accenting is just going to be this nice silver. And that, I think, will be that. So there we go. We have Fox McCloud done. Let's do a bit of a look around of him. We've got the fox head. That's the main thing. We did decide in the end to add in the headpiece, which I think is a nice touch. The gun is very nice and futuristic. We've got his side item. The clothing is looking quite fox. It's a shame we have to use something so distressed. There isn't really an option for anything not like that, but it's worked out fine. We can cover it up by adding in similar colourings. The boots are the only thing that's particularly futuristic on his clothing. Tail in there as well. We've got some nice flavour items on the base. His gloves are looking fine, and we've changed the colour of the torso to basically turn it into his shirt, and that is going to be Fox finished up. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. Remember, if there are any characters you want to see me create on this series, put them down in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter. You can always catch me there. Both of my Twitter links will be in the description, along with a link to Hero Forge, the site I use to make my D&D minifigures, and the site I'm using for this series. If you want to make your own minifigures for D&D or any other TTRPGs, this is the site I would recommend. It's the site I always use for all of my minifigure building, and it's just the thing I'd recommend. It's very user friendly. They're always adding new stuff, so I highly recommend checking it out. The other thing that I highly recommend checking out is the series that inspired this one. You can also find this link down in the description below. That is a link to Building Character, a series by Tulok the Barbarian, where he builds the characters as the playable characters. Playable PCs, basically. As opposed to making them as minifigures, he makes them as characters, and I think it's a great series. It inspired me to do this, and I recommend checking it out. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on far too long, so my final thank you... Yeah, let's try that one again. My final thank you to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.